Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, my name is Ahmad Aiman bin Muhammad Tahi. My matric card number is DIL231312.
And my name is Muhammad Aiman Firas. My matric number is DIL231305.
From the group B. And today we're gonna talk about the reason for the Kedah and Johor fame during the Sultanate era.
Kedah and Johor rose to popularity and prominence in Malaysia during the Sultanate era for a number of compelling reasons. Due to Kedah's advantageous location on the northwest coast of the Malay Peninsula, considerable maritime trade in goods like tin, spice, gold, and forest products was made possible, drawing traders from all over the world. Kedah became a center of Islamic culture and scholarship due to its conversion to Islam and close relation with other Islamic kingdoms. However, Johor's rise in prominence was propelled by its strategic claim to be New Malacca Sultanate, which brought its respect and attention in the Lingga Island, controlled by the important trade routes and become significant naval force. Its importance in the political and economic climate of the time was further cemented by Johor's participation in regional conflicts and rivalries with European colonial power. So there is 3 points of geographically strategic position. The first one is maritime commerce centers. Kedah and Johor are important maritime commerce centers due to their advantageous location on the northern and southern coast of Malay Peninsula respectively. So the second one is connectively to major trade routes. Kedah and Johor were able to establish vast trade networks due to their close proximity to the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean. So the third one is global trade. Their geographically advantage attract traders from India, China, the Middle East, and the other region of Southeast Asia, which aided in development of their economy. So for the next part, prosperous trade networks. There are 3 points in this topic. So the first one is diverse trade commodities. Kedah and Johor were successful traders of tin, spice, gold, and forest products, among other valuable commodities. So the second one is international commercial. Because of their advantageous geographic position, which allow them to establish numerous commercial ties with traders from different regions, they were significant participants in international trades. So for the third one is maritime dominance. The Indian Ocean and South China Sea were under their control, strengthening their standing as significant maritime trading powers. So for the third part is expansion of territories. The importance of Johor Riau Lingga Sultanate was created as a result of the expansion of Johor, which include acquisition of the Riau and Lingga Island. So the second one is regional political power. During the Sultanate era, Johor was able to build alliance and position itself as a major participant in the regional political scene thanks to geographical expansion, which strengthened its political influence. So for the next part is culture and religious influence. Early in their histories, both Kedah and Johor accepted Islam, becoming into important hub for Islamic learning and culture in the area. So by actively promoting Islam, they helped the faith spread to the nearby area, increasing their religious influence. So the third one is the support of Islamic theologians and academic attract thinkers and promoted their status as the foremost authorities of Islam. So lastly is strong Islamic influence of the Sultanate encouraged culture interchange with other Islamic kingdoms, which enriched art, architecture, and literature during the Sultanate era.
So the next part is involvement in regional conflicts. Geopolitical rivalries. Kedah and Johor were both involved in wars of attrition with their immediate neighbours over territory and political sway. Next, European colonial encounters. In order to demonstrate their independence and to defend their territory, the Sultanate interacted with European colonial powers like the Portuguese and Dutch. Strengths in the military and navy. Their participation in conflicts demonstrated their military and naval capabilities, thus giving them respect and reputation during their era. Lastly, political resiliency. In spite of the outside influence, Kedah and Johor show political resiliency, maintaining their independence and enhancing their reputation during the Sultanate era. So we move on to the next part. Enduring legacy of the Sultanate era. For the first point, cultural heritage. The contribution made by the Sultanates to the Islamic art, architecture and culture still have an impact on Malaysia's cultural heritage today. Secondly, trade and economic impact. Their thriving trade network provided the ground network for Malaysia's future economic growth and its participation in international trade. Thirdly, historical importance. The importance of Kedah and Johor during the Sultanate era continues to play the significant role in Malaysia's history, helping to define the identity of the country. Lastly, many historical landmarks and heritage sites from the Sultanate era can be found in Kedah and Johor, attracting tourists and academics that interested to learning more about the culture that lasting the influence. For the next part, the Malacca Sultanate successor. Firstly, strategic claim. Johor and Kedah both positioned themselves to succeed the illustrated Malacca Sultanate, which was conquered by the Portuguese in 1511. Secondly, regional recognition. This succession claim attracted the respect and interest of nearby states, raising their standing in the eyes of other regional powers. Thirdly, being regarded as Malacca's successor gave Kedah and Johor political legitimacy and power to establish their influence in the region. Lastly, historical continuity was made possible by embracing the Malacca Sultanate's legacy, which guaranteed Kedah and Johor's status as key participants during the Malacca Sultanate era. Before we move on to the conclusion, this is the last part. Early adoption of Islam. Early adoption of Islam in Kedah and Johor resulted in a considerable cultural change inside their respective countries. Secondly, Center of Islamic Center or Center of Islamic Learning. As a result of their acceptance of Islam, they became institutions for Islamic education and drew scholars and theologians from many parts of the world to the country. Kedah and Johor vigorously pushed Islam, which resulted in the religion spreading nearby areas and beyond. Lastly, strengthen regional identity. During the Sultanate era, the adoption of Islam strengthened the Sultanate's religious identity and had an impact on their political and social interactions. In conclusion, a combination of strategic element and historical occurrence can be used to explain Kedah and Johor's fame and significance throughout the Sultanate era. These advantageous geographic positions and significant marine commercial hubs along the important trade routes allow for broad trade networks and economic development. The early acceptance of Islam in both Sultanate turned them into hubs of Islamic scholarships, culture, and influence, drawing academics and promoting cross-cultural interactions. Johor's claim to be the legitimate successors of illustrious Malacca Sultanate increased its political legitimacy and sway in the era. The Johor Riau Langgar Sultanate's maritime superiority and political sway were further enhanced with the addition of the Riau and Lingga Island to its territory. Due to their engagement in regional wars, both sultanates gained notoriety for their military prowess and tenacity. Because of their historical importance and contribution of Islamic culture, art, architecture, and economic influence have endured and continued to influence Malaysia's cultural heritage. The reputation of Kedah and Johor during the Sultanate era had a tremendous impact on Malaysia historical and solidified their roles as important contributors to the growth and the development of the country. So that's all from me and my group. Thank you to Madam and all the audience that stay to the end. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.